Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of The Truth Hurts with my friend Brian McGill here. I'm Chris Dadio. Brian, why don't you go ahead and tell us what we're going to be talking about today?
Thanks, Chris. In today's show, we're going to be talking a lot about the negative portrayal of masculinity in TV shows. As of late, maybe in the last 10, 15 years, we've noticed that our TV stars and the men on those TV shows have been shown to be playing a little bit less of that manly role. Throughout the show, we're going to use different types of examples, mainly Enoch Thompson from the recent HBO show, Boardwalk Empire. He's going to be put under scrutiny and put to the test of if he is really a man. Positive masculinity on TV is a rare find these days. Has the television man gone too far? Many of you may be familiar with shows such as Modern Family, The Office, and Two and a Half Men. Yes, all these shows were funny and entertaining, but what examples is it giving to the young men in our society? Is it saying that it's okay to be a feeble-minded and a lackluster father like Phil Dunphy in Modern Family? Or a chauvinist pig who has a sex and gambling addiction and alcohol dependency, such as Charlie Sheen in Two and a Half Men? Now, granted, these shows spark my interest just as much as the next avid TV viewer, but let's pull back the curtain on what is really being revealed here to the viewer and notice things that would otherwise go right over their heads.
Very good point, Brian. Now let's look a little deeper into this issue and take a look at Nucky Thompson in the critically acclaimed HBO series Boardwalk Empire. Right now we're going to show you the intro to Boardwalk Empire so you can have a good idea of what Nucky looks like. Nucky is an old-fashioned gangster, as opposed to the new era gangsta. He is a keen negotiator when it comes to his business partners, and a smooth sweet talker when it comes to his various mistresses. Now, who would not want these qualities? Let's dig a little bit deeper here. Nucky is the top of the food chain at the present time in the show when it comes to the social hierarchy. People want to be him, women want to date him, and nobody wants to be on his bad side. Let's go even further. Nucky is always dressed to impress. He is always in his gangster's finest.
Good point, Chris. How about we get a picture up here of good old Nucky Thompson and analyze his daily attire? As you can see here, this near-perfect suit that Nucky Thompson wears just about on a daily basis. Notice the perfect hair, the top hat, the powerful shirt-tie combination, and the flower just on the left shoulder. Nucky Thompson always dresses to impress.
Those in the know say you're the man to see.
I suppose that depends on what you want.
Both I and the city of Atlantic march to our own drummers.
Is this the way you do business?
You want to see how I do business? Show your face again in Atlantic City. We all have to decide how much sin we can live with.
All of these good qualities and attributes is how Nucky is portrayed throughout the series. But let's look a little deeper. On a critically acclaimed show for its violence and repetitive use of bloodshed and death, all but once on the first 2.5 seasons was Nucky to be the one holding the smoking gun or the bloody knife at the end of a death scene. Although many people do not notice it, Nucky is portrayed as a little bit of a coward, for lack of a better term, when it comes to doing the dirty work. Nucky has a number of right-hand men that when he says jump, they say how high.
Thanks for hitting that point, Brian. In addition to that, we can now talk about another negative masculinity quality that to viewers brings excitement, but is still sending the wrong message. In the first season, Nucky marries his current wife, Margaret Schroeder. Despite tying the knot, Nucky is exposed to the viewers as a passionate lover and a giver with the ladies, but when you pull back the curtain a little bit, all he really is a womanizer. What kind of message is this sending to the viewers? That it is okay to go behind the back of the one that you agreed to spend the rest of your life with, to have one-night affairs with women who could barely hold a conversation about anything other than themselves? You know, Brian, taking a look at these shows as a viewer, not a critic, you never really realize all the hidden messages that are actually said in these shows.
I know, it's tough. I watch Boardwalk Empire every Sunday, and I never really looked into Nucky Thompson in a negative light before. I always thought of him as this all-powerful guy who's untouchable and he can't be beaten, always has the answer to everything, but really he's just about as weak as the rest of the characters on the show when you really look in depth to him.
Yeah, I've never actually seen the show too much myself, but after doing this project, I really think that I might start watching it. It seems very entertaining as a viewer.
Yeah, and one of the other things that was brought to my mind is I always find myself, sometimes rooting for the bad guy in a lot, especially in this one. You root for Nucky Thompson, even though what he's doing is wrong. He's bootlegging, doing illicit activities, having affairs left and right. And, even if you break it down into movies that are out there in the world, you got movies like Law Abiding Citizen, where you catch yourself rooting for the bad guy. Some animated movies like King Kong and The Incredible Hulk. You always see yourself rooting for bad guys.
Yep, absolutely. I feel like it just brings a lot more excitement.
Thank you. That's another episode for The Truth Hurts. Have a good day.